All right, we are rolling, Mike.
Okay.
All right, first of all, thank you for taking the time to do this. I know you're just getting back from some traveling, so I appreciate it because I know you could be resting probably.
Oh no! I got enough rest yesterday.
Thank you for doing it. Mike, first thing I wanted to talk to you about is get an update. You have a new location opening up. And you were building it out. I saw some pictures online that you posted of construction you were doing and an exceptional location. What's an update with that location?
It should be open like in a few weeks. We actually could open it now, but presentation is everything. So I want to make sure the lobby is like 100% before we open it, because I don't want a customer to come in and we're just working uh there. So we're just getting that lobby. So we already did the epoxy floor, put some lighting, moved the door. Just minor build up stuff. That store is already ready to rock and roll, and we're almost there. So I think about a couple of weeks it'll be open.
So layout wise of that store, this isn't obviously your first store. You opened many stores that you
Yeah.
currently operate and previously have. Uh, what kind of stood out as far as like the layout that maybe you took from past experience of building out stores that you implemented in this store, or is it similar to a store you already have?
So in Houston, it's kind of different. I travel all around visiting many stores, but in Houston, it's a little bit different. We're more of a retail setting, and Corn, can you turn that down? You Is that going? Okay. So so Houston is more of a retail location. Like you actually have to have like a storefront. I know there's guys in Houston that don't have a storefront, but it's very few. Most of it is retail. And our number one goal there was Tesla opened the largest delivery facility in the world right there in Cypress, Texas. And we wanted to be there, so we've been eyeing this location probably about almost a year ago, and it was very special to us because we're kind of having a deal to work directly with Tesla, and then and I mean, if you see that location, they took over. I think it's 150,000 square feet indoors. So we want to make sure we're still the Tesla specialist, and it could survive off of that. So that's the reason why we moved there. Moved there. Have that Fort store over there.
So it was an opportunity, like you said, because like Tesla taking over that location, it's just an opportunity. You see the opportunity there, right? Like to be next
Yes.
to them. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Cause we're next to the other Tesla location, and it was a gamble when me and my partner got together, and I was like, if we want to take over Tesla, let's be next to Tesla. And we was on that 45 location, that location that you've been there at, and it was it was a big location, and it was a gamble, and we did really well with it, and I know we'll do well with this. So the older I get, we make calculated business decision, and with less risk, and that's the reason why we have that Ford store over there.
That makes a lot of sense. And like you said, after having so much experience, it allows you to make more calculated decisions because you have experience to calculate with,
Yeah,
which it's a great part of just, trying things and being willing
yeah.
to. How many locations will this one make for you?
So this will make 3 location and 4 stores. We actually Our Midtown location is actually 2 different address. So we built the the other store right behind it. So it's AFS, but it's actually one location, 2 different address. But we try to, it's just 2 different stores, and we share the amenities. So that's why it is a really high profitable location, because we share everything like insurance is share, um, internet. The prepping, the detail guys at Midtown will do that. Just a lot of stuff, and that's why that location is very profitable, because it's not run by one company. It's by two, and we share all the the overhead.
And then how will you staff the new shop? Is somebody from your current team going to run it, or is it going to be you, or how do you get that rolling?
So we already hired like over a month ago. I think probably about 2 months ago, we started hiring a salesperson. We got a window tinner. We hired two extra window tinner, just for the company because we're growing. We got additional PPF installer. We actually have two. We're just getting ready, so we're running payroll a little bit higher on our other location just to prepare them for it. Um, it will be run by one of my staff, and the store is given to them. I always say like, you want to if the business can grow without you. I mean, so the team actually is growing and they want their own store, and so it's the right time for them. Um, uh, they proven that they can run a store, so we open another store, and one of the team member will open it. They're manage it and everything else. It won't be me. I mean, at the end of the day, I'll still oversee it, but then it won't be me at that daily operation. I kind of took myself out of most of the daily operation of, of the business. I do what I like to do now, so I still like to install. So you'll catch me installing, some administrative work like payroll and stuff like that.
And it is, I'm sure, like, I think that's one nice part of having a bigger operation is, like you said, you're able to absorb additional payroll because it's not, there's a margin to do it to where it's not going to
Yeah,
affect you. So you can add those people early on and not feel worried. So that is a benefit to kind of scaling up, is
yeah,
being able to absorb things when they come your way and take advantage ahead of time
yeah.
and so on.
I mean, you have to when you're doing multiple location, um, in order to do that. And that's one thing I'm be talking about the Auto Film Growth Conference is everything that I've done over the years to be able to open multiple location. Um, opening multiple store was kind of it just happened. I kind of never planned it. When I see the opportunity, we'll go and chase it. Like just opening that Cypress store. That was something we've been talking about for. I mean, another location we always just been talking about, and the team always want, because at AFS we always want to grow, and then when the management team is able to be mature, they'll be like, I want my own store, and we're like, okay, let's open your own store. I mean, if that's what you want, because that's the only way to make more money, you know.
So you mentioned the growth conference. For somebody who doesn't know anything about it, can you describe what's going to go on in the end of October?
Yeah, so this will be our second year with the Growth Conference. It's the day before SEMA. It's held in Las Vegas. Last year we had it for one day, the day before SEMA, which is Monday. But this year it's going to be 2 years, and
2 days.
it's going to be October 29th and 30th, and then we're going to have some amazing speaker. I can't announce everybody yet, but I can announce everybody that been announced already. So it'll be Joe Tabati with OC detailing. It'll be me. It'll be Ray Padilla. Um, it'll be a few other guys. We can't really. Jovan is one of them, but we can't list the other one yet until it's announced. Because I hate to break the news. I'm pretty sure Ray is on here, and he'd probably like, Mike, don't say it, don't say it. I'm not. I'm not. He's gonna announce it, but we have some amazing speaker that'll help take your business to the next level, because everybody went on their journey of business, and everybody have a story to tell, because we all hit bumps and stuff in the road, and it's about overcoming them, how to overcome them, system and process, sales, just to create a team. So at the end of the day, you can operate your business. I think you can operate your business a lot more efficient when you're looking at it from, you know, the the outside, because now you get to see your team work. Because when you're hands-on working on a car, your vision is just not there. It's just working on the car. But then when you actually can step away and you're like, oh my gosh, I can open more stores. I mean, the team love it here. The team are happy. The customer are happy. We're profitable. And then you get to see that you can grow. Or you could, you know, you might not want to open another store. You might want to take that money and invest it in something else that you can have time for. Time for your kids, wife, just anything you want to do. And that's what that's what we have done. And then the growth conference, we all talk about that, like how to build a efficient business.
And last year you had a blueprint, the first edition book. This year you have a second edition. Is that right?
Yeah. So we're gonna call it the red print. It's still gonna be a blueprint. We're always trying to evolve and make it better, especially with the sales script and everything that's in this book. Time have changed, especially right now with how the economy is. You got to learn how to overcome sales objective. Now you have a little bit more guys that are getting into the industry. They're seeing ceramic window film and making 500 to 1,000. More people want to come in that are outside the industry, want to come into the industry. Same thing with PPF. And you got to learn how to overcome that, because the last thing you want to do is this dude, um, just open up or been open for 6 months to a year and he's charging this much. You have to get over that. I mean, I started, offering Window Tint for 125 because I didn't have a sales process. It was about being the cheapest in town. I mean, one thing I know, when you open a business and you don't have a sales process or a system in place, is you want to be the most affordable guy in town. And then that usually lasts a while. Nowadays it's a little bit harder. Everything costs a little bit more money, and you have to get the value for your money, because the last thing you want to do is start selling ceramic film and selling it for $300 when we're selling, you know, you could sell carbon fill for 300 and your ceramic for 500. You got to know how to sell that. So that's what this book gonna help you do.
Yeah. For anybody who's doesn't have a sales process, they're essentially just kind of, if you're guessing as to what to say, you're just kind of winging it. You haven't thought through it, whether it be this process from lead to invoice, or it just be the scripting, what people say on the phone. It changes everything. Like having a framework or just kind of winging it. And like you mentioned, people that want to win on lower prices, when you're winning on lower prices, you're probably not going to have a margin in there for marketing or for growth or for hiring anybody or for fixing up your facility and so on, which puts you in a really vulnerable position, because I think you have to have a marketing budget to be successful. You kind of have to. You should. What do you think about a marketing budget? What should that look like?
So I've been like, I travel around, and there's towns and small towns, cities that I travel to that are really small, that you don't really have to market. It's just word of mouth because everybody know everybody in town. And there's cities like Houston, that's a sophisticated city in marketing. If you're trying to get into business, you have to market to be there. Um, but I could take the same thing, that what I know, and go to that small town and dominate it because of the marketing. Because I believe it's not like the 1980s, 1990s, where you do business with the whatever is nearby or is local to you, because you could be next door to somebody and that person never found you. He might be searching window tint near me, and then all of a sudden a guy that's 15 miles from him show up, and he's going to take his car there when you're just right next door to his house. So marketing is very important, because you actually want to have the marketing. The marketing will fund the sales will fund the install it, and just go loop around with a commission system. Everybody is gonna want to make money, and you're gonna is held accountable, and they're just gonna want to make money. Like my sales team was like, I need more leads. I need more leads. And then, you know, my installer is like, I need more work. I need more work, you know, and the marketing will feed the sale and the sales will feed the installer. You got a complete company. You actually can go on an island just like me and disappear for 8-9 days. And it just works itself out when you have a team.
And okay, so on the automotive side of things, service-wise, there's obviously tint, PPF, and coatings. That covers probably main part of your automotive side, maybe some commercial wraps. Is that about right? As far as
Yeah.
services you offer.
Yeah. We're pretty, you know, we do a lot of color change wrap before. So now we don't solicitate, but we solicitate the commercial wrap because we, you know, we got a printer and everything else, but we solicitate window tint and PPF, ceramic coating, and then the, you know, the commercial wrap for the automotive side.
Is there one of those that you kind of lean on to bring in the business, or do you promote them equally? Like, is there kind of an order of like, I get them in for window tint, I sell them PPF, they add coatings, or how do you look at it?
Window tint is number one because it's the number one after market add-on when a consumer buy a car. And that's what, I mean, if you go to a mall and ask 500 people what window tint is, 500 people would say yes. If you ask 500 people what PPF is, maybe 20 or 30 know what PPF is. Same thing with ceramic coating. But window tint, you know, it's still, in Houston, I say it's about 20-25% of the cars that are getting window tint. So there's still a big amount of cars not getting window tint because when you think about window tint, you think about dark film. Some people don't want dark film. That's why you got to educate them. Like there's clear, energy efficient film that'll block out the infrared heat and keeping your car looking clear and OEM. But window tint will bring them in, and then just say they have, um, you know, just say a Honda Accord, and they come in that want the window tint. That guy that bought that brand new Honda Accord, I promise you, he loved that car more than that guy that bought the Lambo. Even though you think he loved it, because that Lambo guy probably got 20 cars. He probably don't drive that car only probably once every 3 months. So that guy is going to protect his car, but you also have to offer it. So you don't want to sell it. You just offer it low. Let me let you know that we do have paint protection film, and we feel like it's more important because we try to change it over because we already know you're going to get window tint, period. So if you're on a budget, get the paint protection film full front. It will stop you from rock chips and scratches. And then, you know, they add everything on because a lot of consumers don't know that a product like that exists, but they know window tint exists. So we bring them in, funnel them with the window tint, and then, you know, you get the paint protection film, the ceramic coating, and anything else that they need.
And then on the flat glass side of things, commercial film specialists, you also do residential as well?
Residential and commercial. So we're real busy right now with the commercial because the state, you know, is by law that you have to have security film. So we got really slammed with that because the big company are taking on like the big school. We're taking on the charter school, the private school, you know, any daycare, stuff like that. Anything that have a student inside of a building have to have security film by law. It's actually February, so they extended it. There's going to be a penalty. So it's good for us. Like everybody is like super busy because of that. There's a few states that did it, but I know Florida and Texas is one of the big one that you know, every school have to have safety film. And
have you seen marketing for that locally? Like any flat glass companies marketing like specifically to that requirement?
no, not really. I have not seen that because they just have to have it, but I have not seen it. We haven't done it ourselves because we market safety film too, but we don't market that you have to have it. I think, you know, if you have to have it, and you know you don't have to have it. Either one does. So because we bid it on some of these jobs last year and they didn't care about it. They just say we have to get a bid on it. All of a sudden they all pulled the trigger just a few months ago, which I was like, wow, I bid it on this like almost like less than a year ago, but still that's been a long time. And then they pulled the trigger on it.
How do you view the flat glass versus automotive? Like if they're, I don't know, like, do you prefer one or the other? Do you see more opportunity one or the other? Is one or the other more easy or more exciting to you, or is it just business is business? It doesn't make a
Well,
difference.
commercial. So my flat glass company, CFS, is my retirement because everything is professional about the company and it can pay everybody a very good livable wage with my guys, from my sales guys to my installer to everybody can, take really, really good care of their family. They can all make, 6 figure and up. Uh, I just look at it and I've been doing flat glass since 2014. I'm mentored by Harry Rodman, if y'all know him. He live in Houston. I'm so lucky that he live in Houston. A few big guys live in Houston that I was doing flat glass just on the side, and Harry, and then there's another guy, Manny, with um what's the name of his company with 3M, EP.
EPD?
So those two
Energy
guys I've
products
been listening
distribution.
to.
Yep. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Sorry.
So those two guys I've been listening like really, really like closely. I'm always like listening to them. And I about almost 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I did the action that they told me to do. And one of the thing that they said to me, like, Mike, your commercial side would never go anywhere if you don't separate them. And that is what I did, because I was using AFS, was doing our commercial side, and it was named AFS. It wasn't named CFS. So what we did, when I listened to them and they were telling me like it'll never go nowhere. 'Cause just imagine if you hire a person for your flat glass and their only job is to get one house, one project, or whatever a day. They're gonna get it. But if you're trying to have somebody, hey, you know what? It's $498 for your Honda Accord. Hey, you know what? It's gonna be we're gonna send somebody out, because it's a whole different process. We're gonna send somebody out to measure your window and everything for your home or your business. It's a whole different process, and you can't do it because just imagine if you get 50% of your skill, or your I don't know how to say it, but 50% to dedicated to handling automotive sales, and then 50% to a house. Think about that. It's going to be harder to close when you got 100% and all your job is to get 4 to 6 cars a day. And then that other person, that for CFS, his job is to get one house, one project. They're going to get it because 100%. They get to, go through the process of, maybe visiting the house, spending some more time with that customer, providing sample, stuff like that. So that's one thing that Harry taught me. And he kept on telling me this for many years, because I got this one big project in 2014, which, was the Audi dealership. I think it was like, it was 5 story of the building and, 7 story of the garage. And that was a job everybody told me I could not do. And all I did was like, I'm gonna prove y'all wrong. And I did that job. I got a scissor lift. I never ran a scissor lift. Now we own a scissor lift. But so I just followed through with them. So on flat glass, I did a few things that was very, very, that made us like money right now. I mean, that's where we at right now. And one of the things is to separate the company. I got his own website. We got put an LLC. It's called Commercial Film Specialist LLC. Hire a manager for it, and then hire the installer. And they don't crisscross. Once in a while, like for my removal, I'll send my auto guys, because I don't want my flat glass guys to be, uh, doing removal. I want them to lay on film. Same thing with my PPF guys. I don't want them to wash a car. I want them to lay on film. So I did all that. And now we got so busy, I got to hire admin for it, like a dispatcher, to keep us all in pace, because we're all over town. Because flat glass is different. Is you don't operate at a desk, you operate at somebody home or somebody office, um, building, and we're trying to locate them, like, and they need to tell us when they're done, so we could call the client to let them know they're coming on the way. So we're facing that problem right now, and that's a good problem, because that's a problem of growth.
Yeah, totally. Obviously great advice that you received regarding separating things. like you said, where the energy is put is where it's going to grow. It's going to grow where you water it. And if it's somebody's job to make sure they're scheduling flat glass consultations or selling them and so on, that's what they're going to do all day. If it's, they can do whatever, they're just going to do whatever comes in, and it can go towards flat glass or away from flat glass and so on. And I think kind of reminds me of, if you have somebody, let's say, scheduling, it might not be the best idea that person's also like doing the whatever they're scheduling, because sometimes you can run into a conflict there as well, where somebody feels busy, so they're going to handle it. Like, you kind of see what I'm saying. But anyway, 5-year prediction for flat glass for you. Where do you see that side of your business? What do you see it looking like within the next 5 years?
I think in 12 to 18 months we can do 4 to 6 million. Period. And that is what me seem, because we're not able to take on all the jobs. My minimum for a flat glass used to be 450, and then now it's 650, because we're just book out. And because somebody will call and be like, you know what, I got that front door, I want to do it a minimum 650. That's how we handle, because the last thing you want to do is send your guy to go do an estimate, because so we actually evaluate them, and we'll handle the call, be like, okay, what do you need tinted? And we ask all those questions. They'll tell us, I just want my front door, I don't want nobody to see it, or my back door. And we'll be like, it's just one door. And they'll say, yes, well, minimum 650. That either they're gonna say yes, or they're gonna hang up the phone, because by the time you send out your guy, it's gonna cost me a few $100s for him to come out there, estimate it, and then come back and then schedule him and give him a proposal. Most likely he might say no. So we're careful on how we schedule Kevin that's going out to do the measurement and sending out proposal.
Cody Becker asked, how much of that like prediction estimate of revenue would you say would be schools, or is it not specific?
I don't want to rely on the school. The school is a temporary thing. It is really, really good. I don't want to grow my team off of something temporarily. I got to be really, really careful. Like, if you was to send me 100 cars today and I need to hire a bunch of installers, what happened when I'm done with the 100 car? I got to lay them off. So right now we're handling the schools very differently. So I sub out 2 companies, and we pay them a little bit more to handle the school. And then my in-house guys are handling the schools and other stuff. But I don't want, because I say by next year the schools will be caught up. Maybe not. I mean, maybe they make a new school and then you'll continue that. But that's a temporary thing. It's a good thing, because we're doing really, really, really good on it, and it's helping me with my cash flow on flat glass. So flat glass we face a lot of problem in flat glass over the time. I mean, it's just a growth problem. So it's been really good. I supplied a company with 25,000 worth of a cash flow, and then the next thing you know, that's not enough. It's 100,000. I stopped taking a payroll. Now we have to build it to 300,000, because we're taking on big project, and we got to buy the film, we got to pay the labor. I mean, just the van and everything else. So the bigger the cash flow for flat glass, the bigger you can become. So that's how I look at it, because I could do those jobs that require, like, I think one of the jobs require like a boom lift that's going to cost like, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to rent. And if you don't have the cash flow for it and don't plan for it, then you just won't get that job, or stuff like that.
Let's go back to, you said flat glass is kind of like your retirement plan because it's rather profitable. Everybody makes solid money within the company and so on. Can you kind of expand on that thought? Do you feel like it's more profitable than automotive? It's easier? Like, what do you tell me more?
Well, I mean, once you, so we deal with 186 building with Harris County. So we're in charge of that. That's our job. Nobody else will come in on it. I work really, really hard at that. Wells Fargo, everything in Houston is ours. We have another company, Agile, that spend a significant amount with us. So we collect all these corporate clients, and they always have something to do. So we have a digital printer, so we put on restroom sign, wall, wall graphic, floor graphic. We do their fleet, so we do everything for Centerpoint. When you acquire these corporate clients, they already know what you want. They just send you the business. They just say, "Hey, Mike, we gotta renovate a new floor. Let's go ahead and take it in. This is what you're gonna do." They give us a blueprint. It's different than automotive. Automotive is we're always chasing it. We're always chasing that car. Uh, and then our price. We're not charging 125 for tint. We're charging this much. With a professional, with commercial flat glass, that company that you need a $10 million insurance to get into that building will pull off a $10 million insurance just to acquire that job and everything else. It's a whole separate thing. It's more you wearing a suit and tie for flat glass and then wearing just a t-shirt and a short for auto. Those clients are yours forever. I mean, especially when you did the design, they work with you. It's just so easy to work with you that they always get you, like especially with big general contractor. Like if you're talking about like Spar Glass, those are $1 billion contractor. Brown and Root. Those bigger one. When you start working with them, yeah, they're gonna get three bids because they have to get the three bids. But just the relationship there, and you're able to work on it. It's up to me if I want that job that bad. I mean, just my security film job with the school, I was bidding against NSG, and you know how big NSG is. So I already knew that I wanted that school, so I did it at $6 for safety film, $6 for IPA, and I got that job. But there's some where I said, you know what, they can have that job. That's a little bit more special because they're more on the construction side, and but when you build that relationship, it'll just keep on going. It could grow. For the next 100 years, you could pay your management, 100, 300,000. That's how I see it. You could pay your installer 2 or 300,000. One of the guys, Gabe, I hope he's watching. In 2 or 3 days, I paid him like $5,200 just to install safety film and install it with him. And I think he have another guy, one of the guys that he worked with, and I could afford to pay that kind of money for
Right.
a flat glass because I mean, I'm happy with maybe $2 square foot, and that's why I think it's different. And then like I said earlier, with automotive, would just keep on chasing. This one, it'll just be a company that run by itself with as many corporate client that you have. You won't be able to do that if you're chasing houses. It's a whole different story. If you're chasing houses, you're always going to chase houses and flat glass. But if you're chasing those corporate client, like we're making a bid on Starbucks nationwide. We do the Jack in the Box here, so they're building Jack in the Box, and that Jack in the Box they built Taco Bell and stuff like that. Once you have those, you you just have them because they're it's so happy. Like Maria probably called, "Hey Mike, how you doing? We're building another store. When you have a chance, go out there and just measure it and let us know. Send us your proposal." And usually they just say yes to the job because they don't want to call anybody else. Hopefully that's how it happened.
Sure. I mean, they need it done. They need it done right. They need it done on time. So it's definitely a different mindset than automotive buying decisions.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a lot more money, and there's a lot of opportunity there. Chrissy Donovan asked, "What do you find the best advertising with flat glass in a competitive market like Houston is?"
We kind of so Houston is a little bit backward on marketing for flat glass, and me and Ray, we've been looking at it. So Ray is my marketer with Media Tune, and we just been studying it, like just looking at it. We are like, let's do this, let's do that, and we had to do a bunch of little tweaks, and then next thing you know, the phone ring like crazy. The leads are coming like crazy, and that's what it take. But if you ever see like people that market with flat glass, I've seen companies spend $30,000-$60,000 a month easily. And we spend the money, but it's pretty easy to get. You just have to get out there because you can't call yourself window tinting. You need to be an energy efficient film company. Because the last thing you want to do is call window tinting, and then you won't get that building because they're not looking for window tinter. They're looking for somebody that can provide a solution, whether it be deco film inside, security film deco, or just to keep some privacy or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit different.
Sure. And to that point, they're looking like they're looking up, let's say, window film companies, and they look up 10 companies.
Yeah.
A handful of those companies are going to be specializing in flat glass. The rest of them will probably be mostly automotive geared with a little bit of flat glass.
Yeah.
And automatically out of that 10, I think most of the time, homeowners, contractors, and so on are going to filter out all of those automotive ones right off the bat. It's like those 7 are mainly automotive. They're done. Here are the ones that focus on flat glass. And then that's where you start, basically.
Yeah. But I mean, if you look at it, Eric, if you're Googling like, man, you know what? My office is getting real hot. I wanna do this to it. They'll put on, window film solution or whatever, and they'll look at it and they'll say auto tint, $199. They're this and that. They're giving that away. So you have to separate those two, because they're looking at best heat solution for your home and business. They're looking at that, and once they see that, because it's geared toward them, be like, oh, that's what I need, and then they click on it, and then we either get a phone call or a lead submission from it. But I mean, we get very little. Some guys just don't read, and they'll just call us and be like, how much is the tint cost? And that's the kind of the good part in it. Usually we could funnel that and then send it to our auto, but we don't get that much auto tint, and you'll be really, really surprised, because the last thing you want to do is be one company that do auto and flat, and then when you're doing your advertising, you're like, cars and homes and stuff like that. Those guys don't want that. Even the mobile home guys that own mobile home or boats don't even want auto tint, because they just think they get a really low end product compared to I'm willing to spend $10,000 to save on my AC or something like that.
Yep. Same idea. If somebody's searching for yacht window film or yacht window tint, and they come across a bunch of automotive sites, then they come across one that specializes in boats, that's the one. And if there's nobody specializing it, then they're calling the auto person. But that's how you can set yourself apart. And another thing that you touched on, I just want to emphasize, is you mentioned, like, for flat glass, people are typing in how to reduce heat in my home windows, or how to make, add privacy to my windows, and so on. And that is a big part of SEO, is making sure that the content on your website is answering the questions that people are actually probably searching, not just home window tint, but actual, like, solutions to problems and actual terms. If it's just random person, and if you can put your content to answer those questions, you come up for it. And they see that, okay, that was my problem. This website specifically talks about my solution. They're the company. Yeah. So solution based is a big part of, obviously, keywords and SEO. What if I was going to if you were going to fill in the sentence, like end the sentence, by coming to the Autofilm Growth Conference, Business Growth Conference in October, you're probably going to take away these 3 things. High level things, not specifically. What do you see that, like, finish that sentence?
You'll take away system, process, and sales. That's our main thing. And marketing will be another one. So it'll be 4. That is what you're going to take away from it. And people need to know that it's really not that hard when somebody give you the step, and for you to have a plan of action and go home with.
Okay. I want to talk about the price, and a really funny comment. I thought it was kind of funny, and I just want to talk about it, that I saw in one of the posts. And I think you saw it. You might have commented on it, maybe. Price of the conference, in my opinion, is on the very, very, very high value side, like low price, because for 2 days, it comes to about $325 a day or less if you buy multiple tickets, if the pricing's still early bird.
Well, it's the early bird. So right now it's $695. And then after the early bird, it'll be $995.
Right. So if you're going to go get your ticket, because it's a significant savings, and for 2 days, 2 full days of this sort of business access, advice, and so on, I think that's super cheap. So the comment that I thought was funny on Facebook was somebody said, like, what are you supporting this guy? You're just making him more rich. And like, I think like that comes from probably somebody who doesn't know you, hasn't been to any of the conferences, and just doesn't know you. Because if you know Mike, you know that that's not like where you're coming from. Could you kind of talk a little bit about your motivation behind why you put together this conference and the autofilm mastery in general, and the meetings of your local installers and so on?
I mean, I always been like, I like to help people. And so if you call me anytime, I even put my number out there, but if you call me anytime, I'm always picking up the phone, giving, if you have any question to help you guide, because I've been there and I know how hard it was. And it just felt good to do that. And I make these special tools, so I owe it to the industry to help you because we make these special equipment, which I actually only made for my shop, and then everybody wanted, and now it became more of a business size. So I'm teaching you how to use tools. We're making special. We're about to come back out with our glass station to make a window tint efficient, and and then from there, I was like, you know what? I'm always going to help. I'm always going to help. And if you don't buy from me, you don't buy from me. But I owe it to the industry because it supported me to give back to it and always help. And that's why I do it. I mean, no matter what. I mean, if you go on my Instagram page, you go on my Facebook, it got my cell phone number that I just put on there. And I still answer the phone. I still answer everybody text. There's not one that, I don't answer. If I don't know the answer to it, I'll take you to the person that can help you answer that. And that's what's very important. There was nobody to teach me these things. You know, maybe I had to learn it myself, but in my beginning days, I didn't get on Facebook until I think 2016, and so I don't know like if these groups exist before that. But I always been on tintdude.com. If you know about it, I've been on there since 2008, and that's where I got my help from, just seeing all that. But you know, um, I just think there's a better way of learning and getting to this industry instead of just learning for yourself. And then if we could provide any support, that's what we want to do.
And what's the website that people can purchase the tools and different items that
It's
you make?
is make more money llc.com. Yeah.
And yeah, makemoremoneyllc.com.
Yeah.
And the
And
concept
then
behind Make More Money. Go ahead.
so I did have another comment that, I mean, since you say that, I had a comment that say make more money. That's a name. It was make more money just came about like me, like since 2010 I was charging $1,000 for window tint. And I'm always telling somebody, don't you want to make more money? I'm always talking to tinters, like even locally. I am friends with probably everybody in Houston. They come to my shop, they drink a beer, they buy some tools, they hang out with me. There's a lobby that have a fridge of drinks and whatever, and they're all welcome to it. And when I see somebody selling window tint and they telling me like, 85, 125, I'm always telling them you can make more money. And make more money is not for me to make more money. It's to help you
Right.
make more money. It never had nothing
Right.
to do with that. And it just came. And then, I start posting some, tips and tricks to make more money. And everybody love it. And that's what, and, I love it that everybody else love it. It just make me want to post more and to help everybody else out more. But make more money is to help you make more money. Um, I mean, I'm always trying to do stuff to be efficient and to make my guys be efficient because I want my guys, my team, to make more money. Just getting a text from one of my guys the other week talking about how much he made that week. I'm like so happy for him. I haven't did his payroll. He did it. He got his own commission sheet, and he told me he made $3,500 in 1 week, and I was like, wow. I always wanted you to make more money. I mean, that's the goal. I mean, but you got to put in the effort to make that make more money. Because I love seeing my guys making the money, buying a new car. I mean, one of my guys, 19 years old, he's on his second car, which is a Type R Civic, and I'm like, I mean, my video guys, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. For him to be at that age, making that kind of money to be able to buy a car, because I couldn't, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
At that age, I was still, working for I think $4.25.
Marco asked, if did you say one of your installers makes about 250,000 a year?
No, no, no. I don't have an installer that. I want that for them. Um, but no, they don't make 250. Ryan Townsley installer probably make 250, $300,000 a year. But no, I don't have an installer. I would love to brag about that. That's like my end goal. So if you guys are watching Bryce LU High, I want y'all to make 250 so I can brag about it, but I can't brag about that yet. I'm looking forward to though.
I mean, that might have came from the installer that you mentioned, maybe had a $5,000 a week or a few days on the flat glass and maybe
Oh,
marketed it
that
down.
is
So that's,
he's a
yeah.
sub. So I sub out a security film job this weekend, and that guy made 2,600. And then my guy Gabe, he's very known in the industry. Um, he made I pay that guy really really good money, but he's a sub, so he don't work in house for me. So if he work in house for me, I think as a flat glass installer, I think he'll make about at least 200,000. But he is very special. I mean, this guy is yeah, is a very. I rarely see somebody that can lay 1,000, 1,500 square feet a day, probably more than that, with high quality work. And then it's rare. I mean, this guy is just smooth. He's different, but yeah, I wish I could hire him, but he's a I'm not in the I don't have that kind of job to hire him, so he's always taking on like different jobs from everybody else. But he's really highly sought out after in the flat glass industry.
Is there something this year, 2023, up till now, that you kind of have a different perspective or mentality on than you did in 2022 in your business or in the
Yeah,
industry?
I think everybody when you step away from the daily operation, you're able to grow it more because you're the visionary. So one thing I want to say, like, I took the team out to eat crawfish. Crawfish is something we eat all the time in Houston, Louisiana. There's a lady I've been eating at her restaurant for like 20 years. Her name Genevieve, and she had the most amazing crawfish restaurant in town. And everybody asked me, why don't she open some more stores? Why don't she open some more stores? I said, do you see what she's doing? She's bringing us out the food. She's taking the money. She's taking orders and stuff like that. I said, she don't she can't envision that yet because she's stuck in her bubble. But just imagine she hires somebody to always be the cashier and take orders. Just imagine she just let her, and she had busboy, but just imagine she let her busboy take 100% ownership of being a busboy and delivering your food or whatever. I mean, clean up after um your table. She's doing that too, and then let your server do it. And I say, just imagine if she was to do that and she was to stand outside her restaurant, she would see that she could open multiple stores. So you're able to make a lot more, big action and planning when you get to see your vision, your business from, not being inside of it. It's very important because when you're inside of it, you're just stuck in it and you're just busy. But sometimes you're busy. I don't know. Making sure everything is done right when you should have used that time to see if you could, you know, maybe bring in another service, maybe expand your service or grow another store. You're able to do that, but as long as your vision is stuck like this, it won't be a vision because if you're outside the circle, then your vision will look at it in a broad way with what you could do with it. I mean, you could I don't know. You could take your house and probably move it to another city. I mean, you got to think about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like being reborn. It's that, like you said, it's that step back and see the pieces for what they are, and once you do, um,
Yeah,
you can grow
because I
them.
mean, this is something that's very important because I produced the company when I was doing everything just installing. I probably produced a company like 400,000 or 500,000 with these hands. But
Mhm.
these hands cannot make me $1 million. It's this that's gonna make me. And I'm not trying to make a million. I'm talking about like growing because you can't think about it, you can't grow your team with this. All you're doing is just helping them lay film, but you could grow your team with this because maybe you're like, you know what? I want to increase. I want to make Window Tint $100 more, and $100 more will give my team more money. But you can't do that because you're stuck in the same dungeon that they're stuck in, and you can't make it that dungeon better if you're stuck in there with them. But if you're actually providing leadership with some vision and stuff like that, you can be like, you know what? I don't want my guys because my guys used to work with no AC. I was like, man, I don't want my guys to work in no AC. I did it. And I just thought that my guys, since I work in no AC, my guys should not work in no AC. I didn't see that. I could afford AC a long time ago, and dumb me didn't do it because I was stuck tinting with them in the heat. And it was like awesome day, man. These guys tint the AC, they're a bunch of pussy, but they're not. But I didn't see that. I just thought like a real man tint with no AC in the heat, just sweating. But I didn't see that back then. And then now I look back, I'll be like, man, you know what? I want that guy to stay with me. I want to be able to take care of him. I want to make him comfortable. I don't want him to like change shirt like 2 or 3 times a day because it's so hot in Houston. So I'll put AC in there. But by stepping back a little bit, you're able to see the condition that your guys work in because you're not caring about yourself, but you should care about your guys. And that's how I look at it.
Marco asked, what are some misconceptions about learning PPF or getting into the film industry that you would like to debunk? Does anything stand out to you?
When somebody think about PPF, um, um, window tint, they still think it's $100. I don't know why, but it's not. But they still think of that because it's still like they still think it's 100. But PPF, everybody look at that big number, that $2,000 number, and they think PPF. I mean, because personally, me, I know tint make more money than PPF because it's a very efficient operation. It's different than PPF. Um, when you have window tint, usually those guys that tint, that's all they specialize is tint. Imagine if you specialize only in one thing and you do
Mhm.
one thing good and you're gonna be super efficient at it. But PPF, they just look at that big number and they want to get there. And it's I mean, you could get hit with a curveball really quick and lose it all. I mean, you could do it wrong and have to give a refund to your customer, and then all of a sudden you're out of the business. I always say this: you cannot skip any step, but you can speed up the step. You can speed up the step by going out to another shop to advance your skill, working, getting up at 6 in the morning, working until 10 to improve on those steps. But you can't skip them because everybody to boat. They want to use this knife. They want to start taking the film and stretching it without a plotter, without the necessary step that's needed to be very efficient and profitable in the business. But the first thing they want to do is thinking that film is wrap material and want to just lay that piece and then start using a knife and then you cut up the car and then you're in trouble. Um, you need to invest in a plotter, and if you don't have a plotter, you don't need a plotter. You could go buy pre-cut pattern from one of the manufacturers or somebody that's selling it, so you don't skip that step. Because I think the knife step is like should be the 6, 7 step you should learn, not the first step. Because I have an intro course, and the first thing everybody want to learn is they're like, you didn't teach us a knife skill. I said, I'm not teaching you the knife skill. Like you should not learn that right now. Like that's if I teach you the knife skill, that's you're gonna learn it wrong, and what you're gonna do, you're gonna carry that for 8, 10 years learning it wrong, and usually you carry that with you, and it's hard to retrain somebody once you just got trained wrong already. Hey, I'm gonna teach you how to hold a knife this way. No, I've been holding a knife this way. It's been working. Well, you've been cutting up the car like for 8, 10 years that you didn't care for it because you didn't learn it properly. Because you need to it's like Mr. Miyagi with Karate Kid. Like you gotta learn how to wax on like for a long, long time before you do move on to the next step. Because you gotta master. Because you'll never master PPF. As long as there's new car, you'll never master PPF. You can master a Tesla because you did do a bunch of Tesla, but you'll master the technique to do PPF. So you want to master the squeegee skill, the knife skill, the heating skill. You know, just all those techniques that you got to master before you can do a car and you'd be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna do the car this way, this way. I'm gonna use this technique. I'm gonna use this technique, and then you get to, you master those technique, and then if you do that car enough, then you master that car. But you will never master PPF. If you're thinking you'll master PPF, I could throw you a Cobra right now, a Shelby Cobra replica, and you'll be like, shit, I don't know how to do that shit.
Right.
It's
Right. Diversity in vehicle shapes, and there's always new ones coming out and so on.
Yeah.
Changes everything. WFCT is 20 days away. Are you going to Virginia Beach?
Man, I am looking at it. I want to go. I'm gonna get with Corn to see if we can go. We actually have a trip that we have to go to, and I actually want to go for 1 or 2 days because I'm seeing all the amazing drone that's going to be flying. Audubon is doing their thing. They're doing every year. Last year was, just being able to go to the Audubon booth and, have snacks and gifts. You give away almost, everything that's in your booth is for free. And seeing what you're doing, the contest, having fun. I love the interaction. Last year, especially when you did the tape measure, that was like the fun. I mean, you got you left everybody booth got left empty because of what Tint Wiz did.
That was a lot of fun. Good. Well, I hope you can make it, even if it's just for like a day or so. The drone show you mentioned is being put on by Audubon. It's I believe it starts at 7 p.m. at a place called Chicks on the Beach, and it's on Wednesday. Don't quote me on the time, but I know the day for sure is going to be Wednesday. I think it's 7 p.m. Could be 6. Doesn't hurt to get there early. And then Wednesday morning is the Tinters for a Cause 3K. If you happen to get in Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, 7 a.m., Tinters for a Cause 3K. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. I hope you can make it. Hope you and Corey can make it. Very well. Is there anything we didn't talk about that you want to touch on?
I just want to probably touch on let's see. I mean, the Auto Film Growth Conference, guys, is 2 days away from it's 2 days before SEMA on October 29th, 30. It's a 2-day event. We're gonna have some amazing speaker. It's $695 early bird special. Hopefully I get to see y'all there. We're having, I'm very happy that we get to do it again and we get to provide more information. We get to, provide more speakers that's going to be there. There's going to be some surprise speaker. Some of them I can't mention yet, but you'll hear it. But these guys are the best of the best in the industry. That's going to give you the system process and sales on how they do it, marketing. I actually always get advices from these guys because you always want to get advice from somebody that already done it instead of just taking advice, because that's, I'm calling Townsley all the time, like, hey, Ryan, what do you do with this? And he's always giving me advice. And that's the thing, because this industry is big, but you can make it small by just shaking everybody's hand. That's the main thing. Once you get to know everybody, you're like, you are the industry and you want to be a part of it and help yourself, take your business to the next level.
And you create a very welcoming environment. And like you said, that networking, that getting to meet people, ask questions, hear somebody's question, and then an answer that you've never thought about the question. And now that answer helps you. And it's not only something you create a very welcoming environment to do that with the speakers, but also just amongst the attendees. So you really are there for 2 days in a very casual environment, like welcoming environment with, it could be 100 and 200 people, it could be 300 people. And you really don't know what you're going to get out of it, but like that's a unique setting of people with the same mindset. They're there to help. They're there to learn from each other. And I don't know where else you get that, frankly, in that sort of like tight knit environment. Like, I don't know of a single other place you get that. So if you're considering going, get the early bird special, because it's like $300 off.
And then you get the book on a second day. I'll make sure it's a second day so everybody, nobody get up. get drunk, get a hangover. So if you get drunk, get a hangover, you still got to come back the second day because this book we're going to hand out is going to be. Um, there's a guy that helped me write this book. That helped me write the sales script. So I want to mention that. He is part of a team that closed 300 million plus a year over the phone, just with his sales process in the
Wow.
West Coast. It's actually for eye surgery, so it has nothing to do with the laser surgery. But that is a highly sophisticated sales script that he helped put into this book, and we implement that into the sales script. My team is using it, like we're killing it. Um, what doing sales, especially with this time right now. This time is a little bit different. Customer, consumer are really, really, really educated. They're giving you quotes from other company and telling you if you could match that. I mean, people are coming into the industry having a lower price, like I said earlier, and we have this sales script that's going to help you overcome that because you need to, especially with the time of change and everybody. That guy that's operating, in a garage have a website now and that is educating, have SEO and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
how to overcome all that. It's a whole different ball game now instead of you being the I mean, you could be in business like 15 years just like me and then see a guy with 1 year and I go to his shop and he got a car. He got a shop full of cars with like 9 cars. I'm like, damn, Mario, how did you do that? And he's like, man, I market and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I didn't market. I'm left behind, with a guy. And, I've been like, at that time, I was 15 years in the business and I was like getting outbeaten by a guy that just started like less than a year ago. And he's buying tools from me and I'm helping him out. And I'm like, wow, I'm proud of you. But he did the necessary step to take his business to that level. And then, so it's for everybody. I mean, I don't care if you got 18, 22 years of experience. We all need to change. I mean, just getting with Tint Wiz with Eric, I was in my 40s and I was like, man, I like this CRM is hard. Like, I'm used to just writing with a piece of paper, like, what do you want? And I've done that for so long. And when you have a team, it don't hold anybody accountable. Did you not know that that person didn't follow up with that lead and stuff like that? And so, this conference will show you all the steps, system and process of what these guys took it to get here. Because we all made a change. And it took, I mean, especially, I don't care how old you are, but you're going to have to roll with it because the time is changing and it's changing fast. And if you're not up with it, you'll be left behind real quick. I mean, there will be a company that comes set up shop right next door to you and take over real quick because they got a system, process, marketing, um, and sales process for their business. And you just been winging it this whole time.
Whether you're a team, like you said, whether it's 18 people or it's just yourself, even if it's just yourself, you still need the same systems. You still need a sales script and a process and so on. If you're not doing it, you really are like handicapping yourself. And once you have that system in place, like you're saying, it not only obviously like makes you a stronger, it will make you a stronger and more profitable company. It makes it easier because you have a process. You just do that process and you know that you can trust in that process, giving you the best opportunity and chance you have. And you just do that over and over. It's easy on yourself to know exactly what you should say on the phone and what the rebuttals are. And of course, if you have a team and you don't have that, I don't know. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine turning the phones over to somebody without them having a script.
Yeah.
Of the same thing I say, the same way I handle the phone calls. This is how you're going to do it. You can't just wing it and find out how it goes, from another room.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you can't hire somebody. I mean, they just gonna sit next to me and hear me talk on the phone? You can't.
And hope they kind of, and what will happen then a lot of times, if that is the strategy, right? Hey, listen to what I'm doing and that's how you're going to do it. What's going to end up happening is they're going to do the best they can. They're going to pick up on the things they think are important. They're going to try to do those things. And you're going to constantly be telling them the things that they messed up. You forgot that. Yeah. No, that's not how you do it. It's this. And basically what you'll do is, not you, but somebody, you break down their confidence over a few hours. It gets annoying. It feels like I'm not doing it right. I must not be good at this. And then they're gone the next day or they're gone shortly after, versus a script where you empower them to do their job correctly. And you go, great job. And a script also, if you have a script, you can hand that person when you're hiring them, before you hire them, you're interviewing them. Read the script. Here it is on paper. Read it to yourself for 5 minutes.
That's what we do. We do
come
that.
back in the room and you're going to read it to me. Read it to me. And you can tell they're not going to be perfect, but you can tell, is this person have any hope, or is this, is it great, or is it kind of like, look, this reading's not for them, or talking is not for them, or whatever, which is fair sometimes with people. It's just not your thing, You got to find out. And you can't find out if you don't have a script for them to read. You can't just tell them. You don't know.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, you see it. You see it when think about a sophisticated restaurant like Papacito and stuff like that. When you look at it, my brother used to work for Papacito, so I kind of understand it. You have to read the menu like 2 weeks before you get hired, and then you have to pass that test of like what this is, what's in this, what's included, and your surf and turf. I mean, it could be a lobster, it could be a shrimp, or whatever, and you have to be able to explain that. How do it taste like? It tastes like sweet meat or whatever. But you get that, and then the waiter will follow your experienced waiter for 2 weeks, and they have a system and process. That's why Papacito can open 100 different restaurants. But it's not about opening 100 different restaurants. It's you're gonna train. I mean, there's no way you hire that guy and hope he's gonna stay with you for 40 years. I mean, it's just gonna come. Most of the time, people stay with you for 10 years. 10 years is good. With nowadays, my parents worked for a company all their life, the same company. You won't get that kind of guy no more. Everybody is like, I want a better. But most of the time, it's not about money. It's how you treat them. The guys at the shop. I mean, I think at AFS, I got the happiest team. If you ever go to a shop, you could go sit there and watch them. You're like, wow, do they even have a job? I mean, it just seemed like the culture there is just, everybody's having fun. Everybody can do whatever they can do. They know what they need to do, and they do it, and they do it by their deadline. And sometimes they want to do it before the deadline so they can take another car so they can make more money. It's all up to them. So yeah, you want to provide that, that culture, that atmosphere, and you got to have a system and process in place when you hire somebody, because you can't. Everybody is hiring somebody in this industry. This industry is so valuable. It's crazy because I could go buy an oil change shop that make less money than Window Tint right now. And I could buy it. They'll probably sell it to me for $1 million Jiffy Lube, right? Make way less money and hiring everybody. But you can't go buy a window tint shop that make, 4 times more money because because when you buy that company, these guys that are actually want to buy that business and set themselves and buying multiple business, they're looking at it. They're like, you got no system. You got no process. What are we buying? We're buying a bunch of guys that can tint window. Yes, y'all make money, but there's nothing. And I'm not from this industry. I want to buy this business. And that's why we're not valuable, because it's crazy. Like, I could go sell AFS right now with a system and process outside of this industry and make so much money because we had that. Instead of somebody, hey, you want to buy my PPF and tint shop? I want $1 million. I'm gonna retire. It produced $2 million last year. I kept like 38% of the money. This is how much money I make. I'm about to retire. No, they're like, okay, when somebody start looking into it, looking in the books, and you start, where's the money at? The company is not profitable because you put it all in your pocket. You didn't have no system in place. Like, your salesperson, can I see a sales manual or whatever? You don't have none of that. And then they're like, I'm not buying this company. It could collapse tomorrow night. And it's worth the money. I mean, he's saying it's worth the money, but it's all in his pocket,
Right.
So that's the reason why, because I know all the automotive industry, and maybe about 15 years ago, you would say a mechanic make the most money, but window tinter and PPF installer and ceramic coating, they're making some stupid numbers. I mean, people are actually paying attention to us. Like, I see guys that have some money, and then he will give money to a guy that know how to tint and PPF and, create his own business. And he's sitting back, with being a owner while sweat equity is working, it's different. And you want to create that for yourself, because once you create that system, process, marketing, sales, you could be on an island for 3 or 4 months, come in and you're companies still operate the same way,
Yeah. Maverick asked what your opinion is on mobile versus a shop these days.
So
He is mobile.
mobile tin,
Yeah.
I recommend that if you're mobile tin, this is what I recommend because my buddy Rob is a mobile tinner, but he got really, really good.
Not
Me and
just
Rob
buddy,
always
but belt holder, original Tinter Battles champion. I
yeah.
think you're speaking about co-champion with
So
you.
so Rob will go into all these shops that need it. Like he'll go to a car wash or a detail shop, and they have all these cars to tint. So it's not like he went to that or that house and went to tint there. I'll go to another house. So he learned throughout the way. Like, hey, I'm at R&R on Wednesday. I'm at this body shop because all the insurance claim they got to do this. So I recommend that. There's nothing wrong with being a mobile tinter if you have like an on-site tint. Like just say you at a tractor place and they got all this tractor for your tent. You might be at a dealership one day, or you might be at a used car lot one day. Those are a little bit easier on your body, and you could build something on that instead of oh, this guy called for tent. I call him for tent. I go to his house. And there's nothing wrong because you still have to start off somewhere, but there's an easier way to start off because there's so many businesses that need window tinner and PPF, like just Apollo, like we used to do collision shop. And
Mhm.
and they'll line up all their cars and they'll pay you whatever you're gonna get paid because they just charge that to insurance. So there's a lot of businesses that need your service, especially like vinyl installer. There's guys that doing ceramic coating and detailing that need your business. There's guys that do PPF that don't want a tent, but they have to have tent or else they might lose that job to a company like mine, that could do it all of it in house. And that's the reason why it was important that we did that. I mean, we didn't know like those three powerhouse would create a big company. Because now when a car come in, he get window tint and ceramic coat and PPF all in one place that he was going to get anyway instead of going to all three. Because I don't know a lot of clients that want to take their car to three different places
Right.
to to get it done. I mean, if they trust you, they trust you. Your sales process is good. They'll drop off the car. But I don't know a lot of clients that are willing to take their car to three places. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and get PPF done. I'm gonna go ahead and get ceramic coating. Then I'm gonna get my window tint. I don't know a lot of clients, so you will lose to that. So with your experience as a window tint, you can create a powerhouse for a company that can actually do it because they're losing customer to it.
That's great advice. And that's really great advice. And, if the companies you're working with have a great margin and they're bringing, they're the ones dealing with essentially selling the customer or marketing to the customer, selling to the customer, all that hard work. And you can come in and do your part. That's great
Yeah.
advice. And I guess if you are going to people's homes, if you're not going to take that advice and you're going to go kind of a traditional mobile, just like, hey, I'm going to the home, I think like probably, I'm curious your thoughts on it. It's just a matter of make sure it's worth it to you. You have to consider drive time. You have to consider how much you're going to charge. Don't just get the price that people say okay to and find out if it works after you spend the day driving around, right?
Yeah. I mean, think about, Harry always say the chicken and the egg. You hear that?
Tell me anyway. I do know what you're talking about, but just
So if you how going to somebody's house and tinting their car at their house or whatever is an egg, but a chicken can reproduce. So going to a body shop, you got the chicken. So you got to think about that. Like, I want chickens. I don't want eggs because eggs are one time. I can't get with him. He might buy another car in 2 or 5 years, so I'll get with him. But the chicken is that body shop that always every day got something for you to do. So you just gotta look for a bunch of chicken and the body shops and the vinyl shop and people that are washing cars, especially the volume of somebody that's washing a car. Just think about the volume that they are doing detailing. They're doing the bigger volume. How many of those people need tint? They always trust that business to detail their car weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. Think about when they buy a new car. Hey, John, do you want tint on your car? I know there's a new car. I got the best guy for you. Just a referral service is is significant, and maybe you rent out a bay like one day a week where he could make some money. You got to make sure he makes some money and don't disrupt his operation, because that's the last thing. So when we get those kind of account, it was very important because I was wondering why we wasn't successful at it. It's because we was interrupting the process, this operation. So if you could make it easy, like just give them a menu and be like, just say Bob own a collision shop, just say Apollo Collision, and you'd be like, Bob, this are the prices. This is the price you tell them. If a car come in, it's gonna be, $399, $499. If a truck come in, it's gonna be this price. If you make it so easy for them, and then you tell them, hey, on Wednesday and Thursday, I can tint the car. Just go ahead and book it. Go ahead and take the deposit. I'll be here from 9 to 5. If you do all that and do it smooth, everybody want to work with you. But that time that you want to do stuff your way, and then Bob got to call you. Hey, how much for a Honda Accord? It's 199. He's gonna get tired calling you. He's gonna be like, man, you know what? I'm not gonna mess with that. But if you put a menu in front of his face and make it where it's just smooth for everybody, and everybody like, man, I love it. I just made $80 off this tent. I don't tent. I just made $300 today. I just made $500. Who wouldn't want to add extra money to their operation? Everybody do, but it's about making it smooth,
Yeah. Such unbelievably clear, great advice. It has to be easy, like you said. They're going to get sick of calling you, just like you said. So if you can set up easy pricing, and you should have easy pricing for yourself, your own staff, let alone them, but it's got to be extra easy for them. And like you said, it's easy pricing and then kind of easy scheduling. Because if they have to check with you and it has to be a week and a half from now and this and that. But if you can just say, hey, every Wednesday, we're going to come in and knock it out, and you can get into that system. And look, it's September basically, right? Winter's coming. So it's time to go get your chickens, whether you're flat glass or automotive. So come December, you have the eggs from the chickens, right?
Yeah. I mean, you should always have eggs, but your chicken are always going to make you the most money, and you take care of them. Good working relationship. And you never know what comes from that. I mean, that's where, we got here from building a relationship with our clients. I didn't know my clients that own all these Porsches. And he didn't know either. I mean, he run the company Agile. Agile built $1 billion. They work with $1 billion company that built interior space. So we do a lot of deco film. I mean, they spend $800,000 a year with us before, with deco film. And I didn't know none of that, but that relationship that I built, that trust and everything else, and you always want to build that relationship. You don't never know where it's going to take you, because once somebody, you always want to work hard. Once somebody see that, man, everybody wants you to do good. I want this guy to do good because he work hard. The last thing you want to do is not show up and not even communicate and call them that you're not going to come. Nobody's going to want to ever give you a chance,
And that's kind of like potentially a life cycle that sometimes happens with companies too, is maybe they even, at the beginning, they're showing up on time. They're like so hungry and everything. Then they get busy all of a sudden and they miss those phone calls and so on. And then that customer ends up your customer. And if you don't fumble the ball, they'll stay your customer. And if you do fumble the ball, it's going to go to another company that is ready for that customer. And that's the name of the game, right? Over time is making sure you treat everybody right, you stay on time, you build those relationships, you keep those relationships. And that's especially the flat glass business, but I guess the automotive as well, frankly. Not maybe on the consumer end, but like Cody brought up Tim Ham earlier, an extremely great example of a mobile business, because he does all services at dealerships and people. Like, what a incredible.
But I mean, example. But he got all the chicken. He got all the chicken though. He's on site. He got all the chicken. He got all the dealership. Like,
he's got the chickens for sure. He's got the DNA for the chickens.
Yeah, that's the chicken you want. And it's not all about dealership. I know he got dealership and stuff, and dealership is a little bit more sophisticated to get into. But there's a lot of shops that need your business. I mean, if you go a lot of, especially body shops that need it. Like, we can't we have to give up our body shop because we no longer can go to the body shop. And then there's a body shop, I forgot the name of it, but they bring us the cars when they need something done, and they're charging the customer because they want to make that money, because they add an extra 20-30 on top of it, especially a PPF of $2,000, they get to add, $2,600 at 30%,
Yeah. Huge.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike, for I feel like this was truly an hour and 20 minutes of a really, really great conversation. A lot of knowledge. You really, I think, put a lot of things in a very simple way, explained them in a very simple way, and they're actionable, helpful things. and I'm sincerely looking forward to the end of October and seeing what you all have planned.
Okay, see y'all guys at the Auto Film Growth Conference, guys. 2 days before SEMA.
Auto Film Growth Conference. I'm going to put up the link one more time.
Yeah.
And it is taking place at the Resort World, which is
connected to SEMA. So you get into the underground loop, the Tesla loop, and it'll take you to SEMA if you're staying there. I highly recommend staying there for SEMA because you don't have to take a taxi or anything. You just get to SEMA back and forth if you're going to SEMA. And then, one of an amazing hotel with a bunch of restaurants. So, you're always going to be fed good just by staying there.
Cool. And SEMA is still, if you're going to Auto Film Growth Conference, you probably want to stay a couple days for SEMA. SEMA still has their special, I think it's $69 to get registered, and that's up until September 29th. I think that ends, and then the price goes up a bit. So, get this out of the way, get it registered for both events, and we'll see you in Las Vegas. And basically, it's 60 days away. See you guys. Thank you for having me, Eric. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. It's always a pleasure. Okay, bye-bye. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.